But more than happy to answer your questions after the presentation is done. I'll just stand at the front here. Second housekeeping item is that hopefully you were able to get a worksheet on your way in. If you did not get a worksheet, I have some lovely helpers in the back that have extras. So try to raise your hand. Oh wow, we have a lot of people that didn't get worksheets. Okay. Well, we'll make our way around. We don't have any worksheets left. That's tragic. Okay. Well, here's what we're gonna do. The good thing is, a lot of these resources and a lot of the questions that we'll be answering during those activities will be coming up on the screen. Now, yesterday when I actually did the presentation and we did our separate exercises, I found that a lot of the audience actually wasn't filling in the questions right away because they wanted to take some time to think about it, talk with their teammates and their coworkers. And so instead, what I suggest we do is that when we get to those slides, I'll take some time, we'll pause, and feel free to jot down what you're seeing on the slide as the question and the activity. These worksheets are supposed to make the sessions interactive, but they're also intended to be taken home and to work with the other people that are involved with the organization. You don't have to complete it just yet today. Now, if you've watched some of the sessions this morning, you'll probably have noticed a trend that a lot of these sessions start off with a really brief success story showcasing one of the amazing small businesses that we partner with, and this presentation is no different. So I'm now excited to introduce my friend Julie.
I'm Julie Walton Garland. I'm the third generation at Walton's Antique and Estate Jewelry, located in historic downtown Franklin, Tennessee. We are never afraid of trying something different, and I think that is one of the reasons why we've been here so long. I remember my dad telling me, we've got to find a way where even when we're closed, we're making money. And Facebook was the way we were able to do that. Because of our success on Facebook, we launched our online store, so now anybody in the country can shop at Walton's. We've seen our sales increase dramatically. Not only do I love my family business, but just as much, I love this city. I've become the promotions chair for the Downtown Franklin Association, which is the nonprofit group that helps Franklin thrive. We've had some opportunities to sit down and work with businesses to help them with their Facebook and Instagram presence. Once they see the value, their business is exceptional after that. Today, Franklin is thriving more than it ever has before, and I see it thriving for generations to come.
So Julie said something there that I think a lot of you would like, and I heard some cheering happen in the front, so I know you do like it. We gotta find a way that even when we're closed, we're making money. But it's not just making money. You gotta find a way that even when you're not having those conversations face-to-face, or seeing your customers maybe face-to-face, you're still having a presence with them. And that's exactly what Facebook allows you to do. It allows you to build up those relationships and connect with your customers, regardless of whether it's in person, online, or even on the go. Now, as a small business owner, we understand that you're busy, you're wearing those many hats in your business. Your business is a restaurant, you could be the head chef, but you could also be the accountant, balancing the books. It can be difficult, both time-consuming and expensive, to make sure that you're showing up across platforms, whether that's via mobile, on the desktop, or on a laptop. When you create a Facebook business page, you're automatically present across all those platforms without actually having to do anything extra. And that can be really powerful when you're trying to build community online. And when we talk about the Facebook community, I think we all know that it's quite large. We have over 2 billion people accessing Facebook in any given month. But when we delve deeper into that community, it's not just for personal use. We've noticed that people are really turning to the platform to have those business conversations and build those business relationships. 2/3 of Facebook users say that they actually visit the page of a local business at least once a week. Now again, it's great. They're showing up, they're having that exposure. But again, exposure is awesome, but you want to make sure that audience is becoming accustomed. And it's not just exposure. We work really closely with our users, and over 45% of users say that they actually made a purchase from a brand, a purchase online, after seeing or being exposed to that business or that brand via Instagram. So it is really translating to actual business results. Now, when we talk about devising an advertising strategy or building out an advertising plan for your business, the first step is building out and understanding what your business goals are. And although that may seem like a daunting question, there's no one that knows and understands your business goals better than you do. Now, one piece of advice that we do have when creating goals is to make sure you're setting smart goals. I know that sounds ridiculous. Of course, you want to be setting smart goals. But when we say SMART, it's actually an acronym. Specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and some sort of time aspect on that goal so that you're actually able to measure progress. And to really paint a picture here, we're going to look at an example of a business that did just this. So, the Institute of Transformational Nutrition is a small business that we partner with. The owner, Cynthia, actually created the Institute after she was able to heal a lot of her health ailments through naturopathic remedies and resources. Now, the Institute has one main product, let's say, that they offer. It's their online curriculum or educational program, and it retails for around $5,000. So, traditionally, they have shared content and shared information about the business, but they never actually used Facebook ads to promote the business. It was about last quarter, 2018, and Cynthia decided that she would create a goal for her organization. And this was the goal. She wanted to get people who were interested in health and nutrition to sign up for that online curriculum that I mentioned, the $5,000 course, by the end of Q4. But see how the goal isn't just, oh, well, Cynthia wants to get more customers, or Cynthia wants to make more money, sell more. It's smart, specific. She's saying exactly who she wants to reach and what she wants to sell to them. It's measurable. She's put that dollar figure on what actual target she wants to hit. It's achievable. Yes, it was definitely going to be a challenge for her organization to sell that much in that short of a time span, but she knew it wasn't impossible. And I think that's a very important aspect to highlight. Setting impossible goals, it can be tricky. So talk to your teammates, brainstorm, work together, and make sure that the goals you are setting are a challenge, but they are achievable. The goal was definitely relevant. If she was selling more of her curriculum of her program, she'd be extending her community. And then lastly, she put a timestamp on it. And again, really important because it allows you to measure incremental wins or achievements along the way. It's actually really helpful when you're trying to maintain excitement or motivation among your team members. Now, as a result of using a Facebook ad, it's actually a really awesome ad. Cynthia had a picture of some healthy foods, and then the tagline actually redirected to their website and asked people, what type of health coaching do you think you'd prefer? And you could fill out a quiz. As a result, they learned more information about the program. And what I want to highlight is that she surpassed her goal by quite a bit. But it was because she had a plan. And she really understood how she was going to achieve that goal. I do want to also highlight that your goal doesn't always have to be a monetary number or anything to do with finances or selling. Your goals could be intermediate steps or baby steps that will help you get along the way. And your goals will vary not only by the different business verticals you all operate in, but also at what stage of the business life cycle that your business is in. If you're just starting up, your goals in the infancy stage are probably going to be a little bit different than if you've been around for 20 years. And so, to really keep all those variances in mind, we're going to look at 3 sample businesses and actually work through the rest of the presentation at building out an advertising strategy for each of these businesses. Our first business is our lovely restaurant. They're a Mexican restaurant that has amazing cuisine and really amazing margaritas. So they have no problem packing the place on the weekends. But they want to keep driving business. They want to keep growing and selling more and filling the restaurant. And so maybe for them, their goal is actually to increase the number of heads they're getting in their door during the week. They can't fit anyone else on the weekend, but they decided to really focus on their weekday customers. Now for you business-to-business or B2B folks in the crowd, we'll take our architecture firm. Probably large firms don't have too much trouble closing 50 deals in a year or hundreds of deals in a year. But if you're a smaller firm, maybe getting actually 10 good projects is a great year for you. So your focus and your goal could be on generating leads, finding really good quality, high quality leads of projects of good value that can actually help you earn customers and clients later on. And then lastly, for our e-commerce folks in the audience, we'll take our online jewelry store. Let's say they're still somewhat in their infancy stage, they're a bit of a brand new business, but they want to be top of mind when you have great life moments, maybe an engagement, or maybe there's a pregnancy. And so for them, they really want to focus on building brand awareness. They want to be top of mind so that when those big moments come up, hey, you think about them before you think about anyone else. Now, keeping this in mind of how we built out these goals and how we're being smart, we've come to our first worksheet activity. So for those of you that don't have a worksheet, but do really want to carry on with this activity at home, step 1 would be writing out your goal. So maybe ask yourself, what's my goal with a question mark, and right beside it that acronym SMART. So when you do come and revisit this activity, you'll be reminded of what we've just covered, building out those SMART goals. For those of you, does anyone actually have a worksheet? Okay, some of you don't, so good. So some of you will be able to move along with this. And once you do find and populate what your goal is, keep it in mind, because as we work throughout this section, we're going to revisit that goal. So, step 1, understand what it is you're working for. Step 2, who's going to help you get there along the way? Who's going to be your target audience for this piece of content, this advertisement you're putting out there? Now, I think whenever we talk about our businesses, I know I do this with my own business. If someone's to ask me who do I want to sell to, well, quite simply, I want to sell to everyone. I want everyone to be my customer. But in actuality, when you tailor your content and you understand who your best customers are, it actually allows your advertisement to go a lot further than just saying, hey, I want everyone to see this piece of content. I want to reach as many people as possible. It doesn't matter if I think they're interested in my business. And so when we're thinking about who our target audience is, I want you to actually ask yourself 3 specific questions. And maybe take a picture of this slide if you don't have a worksheet. Well, all the phones came out at once. We will dive deeper into each of these questions. And so, to start things off, I want you to ask yourself, what needs does my typical customer have? Or quite simply, what need comes from allergies? And so incorporating that kind of messaging into your advertisement will help you make sure that the people that are actually interested in your product are the ones that are going to be seeing that piece of content and responding to your call to action. If it's to click to learn more, click to see more. If you're having trouble thinking about what need you are serving, sometimes that word need can be replaced by want. So for example, with my clothing business, we understand that some of our styles are not everyone's taste or style. And so for us, we understand that we're not really serving a need, but instead it is a want. Question number 2, what does my typical customer look like? That is definitely a loaded question. There are a lot of factors that go into this. It could be anything from demographics, so what's their age, gender, could be interests, and that, I think, is one of the most key aspects I want to highlight today. When we talk about what differentiates Facebook and Instagram advertising against any other platform, it's the ability to target based on interests. So pages that they've said they've liked, events they said they're attending, they're interested in, you're able to actually get a glimpse into who your customers could be. This question also touches upon location. So not only where their Facebook hometown is listed, but also where their phone's GPS says they are. To take things one step further, as you're answering this question, also ask yourself, is there a specific education level that I'm trying to reach? Is there an income level that I'm trying to reach as well? This question has a bunch of different facets that is incorporated into it. Lastly, what motivates my typical customer? So what are they driven by to actually make a purchase? Is it price? Should I be offering promotions? Is it customer service? Do they want to just be able to try my product or service before they need to commit? For our clothing business, our customers we found loved free shipping. And so for us, yes, that is a bit of an expense up front, but it's really allowed us to build repeat customers and relationships with these individuals. Now, keeping these 3 questions in mind, we're going to revisit our sample businesses and see how they narrowed in on who their target audience was. So for our restaurant, if we remember, Mexican restaurant, packed in the house all weekend, they have really great cocktails. When they looked though who's coming in every Friday and Saturday night, they noticed that it was a lot of students from the nearby university college. And so, just from asking a couple questions, and even knowing what our student population is usually going through, they noticed that students liked promotions and discounts. And so, what better way to get people into your restaurant than to have Taco Tuesday? We like Taco Tuesday on the front row over here. I agree, honestly. Now our architecture firm, that was that B2B business, business to business section. They decided to look at some of their current and best customers and best projects, and they noticed this recurring trend that a lot of their best projects were ones that were involved in the environmental space. And that, hey, when they talked to their customers, a lot of them had chosen them because of their environmental rewards and awards that they were. And so incorporating that messaging messaging into their future advertisements allow them to make sure that they were reaching the right audience. And what I really want to highlight there is that's a great way to help you answer these 3 questions that we talked about. If you're having trouble answering what needs am I meeting or what motivates my customer, ask your customers. Ask the people that you know are already doing business with you and love you and your brand. And then lastly, our online jewelry store. So again, they want to be top of mind if you're getting engaged. Well, engagement is a really personal or a great moment in life, and so for them, what could help them narrow in on their audience is that they could want to promote the personalization services that they have for those big life moments. And so redirecting people to their website so that people could actually see, hey, they offer personalization on rings, on necklaces, on bracelets. That's really great. All of a sudden, when you're looking for business that can help you with those life moments in the future, now that store is top of mind. You've really helped your brand awareness. And so keeping these ideas in mind, asking yourself those 3 questions, the next step in the activity is based on that goal that you've thought of. Who's going to be your target audience? Who are the stakeholders that are going to help you achieve that goal? And again, reminding everyone what those 3 questions are in case you want to jot it down. What's the need? So maybe just put need with a question mark. What do they look like? And what motivates them? Those are the 3 things you want to ask yourself, and regardless of where your business is, what vertically you operate in, what stage you're in, those 3 questions are still beneficial. It's a really good way to make sure you're doing a sanity check on where you are with your customers. For those of you that do have the worksheet, have you been able to follow along and really start to think through this? See some people nodding, which is great, good. My group yesterday wasn't having success with it, so I'm happy we are today. And so once you've identified who your target audience is, lovely, that's awesome. But that doesn't mean your audience is going to be your customer. There's a big differentiator between someone being part of your audience and someone actually being your customer. And so how we suggest to go about closing that gap is to think through your customer's journey. We use the term customer journey to describe all the different touch points that an individual may have with your brand before they actually do business with you. So that that's actually making a purchase from you or sitting down in your restaurant and ordering a meal. So, if we think back to our examples, our business examples, we'll take our restaurant. Let's meet our friend Jane. Jane has recently graduated from the Greater Toronto area from a college here. She now works in digital marketing downtown. And one day when she's on the bus on the way home from work, let's say it's Wednesday night, she's on her phone reading some articles from the local paper, and she sees one of your ads for your business. It's actually a Facebook ad, and if you use the audience network, that she decided to pop up in her browsing. So she sees your ad, she clicks on it, sees your menu, looks really great, but doesn't think too much of it. That's, though, how she first became aware of your business. It was her first exposure to who you are and what you're about. Now fast forward to Saturday morning, she's running around doing some errands, and she runs into her friend Tom, asks what he did last night, and he mentions that him and his co-workers, after work, went to happy hour at this really great local Mexican place. And he mentions the name of your business. All of a sudden, Jane's thinking, hey, I recognize that business before. Where is it from? And remembers that she's actually already landed on your website. This is when she enters into the consideration phase. She's aware of her business, and she's learning a little bit more about it. She's actually hearing firsthand from her friend how great it is, how much she loves those margaritas. And so now she's considering, maybe I'll stop by sometime soon. Fast forward to Monday evening, on her way home from work again, and she's on Instagram and notices an Instagram ad for your restaurant. Clicks on it, and she's able to see that, sure enough, tomorrow is Taco Tuesday. Well, she sends messages to her coworkers, and before you know it, they're all in your restaurant Tuesday night having some tacos, drinking some margaritas, and Jane has become a customer. She's converted. So if you remember those 3 touch points that we had, that awareness phase, the consideration phase, and the conversion phase, if you've attended any session so far this morning, it looks really familiar. It's that customer journey or the marketing funnel that you've probably seen at almost every presentation so far today. And what I really want to highlight about this funnel is that those 3 stages, those 3 buckets, are actually how Facebook ad objectives are grouped. So you have different ads that fall into each of these, and we'll actually walk through them in more detail later on in the presentation. What I do want to highlight about the funnel that you're seeing on the screen is that it's shaped this way for a reason. there are going to be a bunch of people that are aware of your business. But that doesn't mean that everyone who's aware, that doesn't mean your full audience is actually going to end up purchasing through you or converting. So it's really common for you to lose a couple folks along the way. But it's also really common to be at a different stage of the funnel or the journey, depending on what product you're talking about, or maybe what service you are offering. And so keeping this funnel in mind, the next step in our activity is to think where about in the funnel you need to be to help drive that goal and work with that audience you've identified. So if you've been around for a really long time, you have a really great idea of who your audience is, and you know or confident that they know who you are. Maybe you're shooting right at the bottom of that conversion piece and really building out ads that falls in the conversion objective. Does that make sense to everyone? Great, thank you. Thank you for the nod, I really appreciate that. So we've identified this funnel, and I mentioned that the funnel perfectly lines up, that awareness, consideration, conversion, line up with the advertising objectives that we have on Facebook. So we'll actually look now at each of these. How you can access these objectives and build an ad if you're trying to do it just within your Facebook business page homepage is that promote button at the bottom. If you click on that button, you'll actually be prompted to choose an objective. A couple of them are listed here, but I do want to highlight that these options will be depending on what information you've shared with Facebook. So if you have an app, for example, that you've linked up to your Facebook business page, you will also see the option to drive app downloads from the App Store. Depending on what objective you select in this screen or this stage, it will also alter the questions that come afterward. So for example, if you're promoting messages, the next couple of fields you need to populate after will be different than if you've chosen to just boost a post. But keeping that in mind, we're going to look now at some examples that fall into each of these different ad objective buckets. And the first, keeping on that theme, let's say you maybe have a physical brick and mortar location. You can use the promote your business locally objective to try to drive traffic into your store. So you can select your location, you can choose a radius around that location, and then when people walk by or within that radius of the location you've identified, and when they pull up their phone or are looking on Facebook or Instagram, your ads will show up to them. What's also important to highlight is that even if you don't have a physical location or address, let's say you do some sort of home service within a state or a city, you can use that instead for your radius, and then when people are in that city or state, their ads can be shown to them. Make sense? Great. Now the next one, boosting a post. I got this question a bajillion times a day. Is a boosted post an ad? Yes. The short answer to that question is a boosted post is an ad with the sole purpose of trying to increase your reach. So have more eyes see that piece of content, more people that don't already like and follow your page, and sometimes people that do already like and follow your page. Why a boosted post falls within these two areas of the funnel is that they're increasing your awareness by showing it to more people, but within a post, you're often sharing information about your business. Usually it's a piece of content that's done really well, maybe you're explaining a new product or a new service, and so that's what we also say that helps to drive consideration, because it's helping to share more information about your operations. Consideration. So we're working into that level of the funnel now, and one great way that we've seen businesses drive this objective is by using traffic ads. So a traffic ad essentially just redirects traffic to another part of your business. And the example that we're looking at here in particular is redirecting people to your website, so getting more website visitors. Really helpful if, for example, people have to go to your site to actually book an appointment, or if you're a restaurant, your menu is only on your site. It's a really great ad to use. Now, for those folks in the crowd that are in the B2B space, are working maybe in professional services, or you have clients and clientele, using leads is a great way to get the word out about your business. So quite simply, a lead ad is an ad where someone clicks to learn more or find out more information. They fill out a really brief form that includes maybe their name and their email address, and then in return for them giving information about themselves to you, you often share via email more information about your business. We've probably all filled out a lead ad before, maybe we just didn't realize we were doing so. Lead ads can be really great if you're launching a new extension of your business and you're not sure if your customer is going to be the same. So one of the small businesses that I work with, they're really established in the industrial fan marketplace, but they had a new product that was industrial light, and they weren't sure if their same clientele were going to carry over from the fan to the light space. So they used a lead ad And sure enough, it was actually people that were involved in a different industry. You can see how using a lead ad and having this all done electronically is a lot more economical than sending out sales reps to their door. Moving on down the funnel, we've reached the bottom, our conversion place, and that's where we're really trying to drive people to become our customer, whether it's making a purchase or calling us and booking an appointment. And so, the get more website purchases objective will only be available to you if you have the Facebook Pixel installed. Did anyone in the room attend the Pixel session today? A few of you, great. So, personally, I think the Facebook Pixel is single-handedly the most helpful and the greatest tool that's available for you to use on your business. For those of you that didn't attend the session, in one sentence, what the Pixel does is it allows you to track actions on your website. So if someone clicks on your Facebook ads and lands on your site and puts something in their shopping cart and then doesn't make a purchase and abandons it, you now have visibility to that action. You can now retarget that individual on Facebook. So I'm sure you've all seen a sweater that you put in your shopping cart 5 days ago floating on the side of your Facebook business page on the screen. That's a pixel. And again, it's great because it allows you to have those interactions and keep your customer throughout that journey, driving more purchases from your website because you have visibility to the people that are purchasing from your site. Now I mentioned that you have the option to actually link up your business page with your app downloads, and so if you have done that, you can also use the conversion objective to drive app downloads from the App Store, whether it's from the Android App Store or the Apple App Store. And then lastly, the option to promote your call to action button. So I'm sure we've all heard the call to action button before, but I think sometimes we think it's just a button that pops up on posts, for example. So when you see an ad, the button that says, learn more, or sign up, or shop now. But when we talk about this conversion objective, we're talking about the button at the top of your page. And what I really want to highlight about that call to action button is that it brings to the forefront whatever your business objective is. So quite literally, if you're trying to drive purchases from your store, having a button that says shop now is a great way to remind your customers to shop with you. If choosing these different objectives and figuring out this whole plan is something that you're just not looking forward to doing, that's okay. We have something called automated ads that'll actually do a lot of the legwork for you. So how you can actually access automated ads is the same way you would access building a regular ad campaign. So if you click on that promote button, you'll notice that above, you can have the option to select automated ads. What automated ads does is it asks you a very brief quiz with which you fill out what vertical your business operates in, how you connect with your customers if you have a store so it's face-to-face, or maybe it's online only. It allows you to select some information about your customers so you can search for demographics, location, or interests. And then as a result of all these questions, and filling out and completing this quiz, automated ads actually produces for you an advertising plan, a suggested advertising plan. It'll produce 6 sample ads, photos, videos. It'll also produce sample audiences, sample price or budget or campaign amount that they suggest you use. And what's really great is that at the end of the day, you don't have to use it. But it's a really good starting base if you're trying to figure out what your advertising strategy should be, or if you've maybe never actually created an advertising plan before. A couple things that I do want to highlight about automated ads. Try your best to answer the questions about your business right now. So if you know who your customer really is right now, use that when you're doing your audience targeting. It'll allow you to really make sure that the advertising plan that's being produced for you will help you keep driving those results. Like I said, the plan that gets created for you is just a suggestion, and so at the end of the day, it's still up to you whether or not you use it. You have full flexibility and control over your ad campaign, even when you use automated ads. Now, the automated ads platform will produce 6 suggestions of ads. Personally, I suggest running all 6 at once, seeing what's working, and then since you have full control of the campaign at all times, just stop the ads that aren't working. So use those insights, use those results to make real live time adjustments. That being said, if you are doing that experimentation piece, make sure you're running your ads for at least 7 days. That way the machine learning and the logic actually has some time to build up. Does that make sense? Great. So if we remember our 3 sample businesses, let's select what we think the ad objective could be for each of these. So I'm going to remind everyone what their goal was, who their audience was, and then I want you to yell out what you think the ad objective would be. So for our restaurant, Remember, they're trying to get more people into their location during the week. What ad should they be using? Oh wow, okay. Well, awareness, good, I heard that. That is exactly the level of the funnel we want to be working in. And if we remember some of the awareness options, one of them was to promote your business locally, right? To get more people into your store, drive more traffic, foot traffic. And so for them, that would make the most sense. People are walking by and see that it's Taco Tuesday, they're probably gonna come into this restaurant. Our architecture firm. Yes! Sorry, I get really excited when people are participating. But it's true. Get More Leads is exactly the ad that will help them find these projects that could potentially lead to that revenue at the end of the year. And then lastly, our online jewelry store. They're trying to let people know with their personalization, build brand awareness. We remember how they share that personalization. Oh my gosh, I can't say personalization anymore. Personalization information. It was on their website. So what would be the ad objective to help that?
Shop now.
Oh, yes, yeah, okay, I heard all that is right. Get more website visitors, traffic ads. Great, so you guys have a big grasp on this. So keeping all those in mind, if you think back to that goal you created for yourselves, that objective and that audience, what do you think would be the best one to help with your situation? And what I really want to highlight is some people have asked me in previous sections, I think conversion. I want people to buy from me. I want to drive more revenue, which is great. We often find that the conversion objectives are probably the ones that most align with their long-term goals. But just because that's your long-term goal doesn't mean that right now you're in that conversion stage. So I think if you're trying out conversion ads from the start and you're not getting the results that you want or you thought you would be getting, doesn't mean that Facebook ads don't work for you. It just means that maybe you should move higher up the funnel and try it out before you keep moving downwards. There's something to keep in mind. Oh, great. So we did step one of creating an ad on Facebook. We thought of our objective. Now I did mention that when we were building out that ad campaign, depending on what objective you select, some of the questions after will differ. That is true. But what will always stay the same when you're building out an ad campaign is the fact that you need to find or pick an objective, you need to identify an audience, and you have to build out the actual format of your ad. Now when we talk about building out the format of your advertisement, your ad will always have either a photo or a video component, and then there would be the option to add a description or a tagline. A couple of things that I want to remind you is that when you're building out that description or that tagline, that's a great place to think back to those 3 questions that we use to identify our audience and our customers. What does they need? What do they look like? And what motivates them? By including in your description what that motivator is, what better way to drive your customer to actually act and interact with that piece of content? Now, when we talk about identifying your audience on the platform, you'll notice that when you go through and actually start to select the audience metrics to build out your Facebook ad, you'll be asked to answer the 3 questions that we really focused on before. The demographics, location targeting, and then what are those interests? So again, doing a lot of this legwork up front and really thinking through this plan only makes it easier when you decide to translate that plan into an actual ad campaign. After spending all this time making these advertisements, makes sense that you're going to want to be able to measure their results and see if they're actually working for you. And so, depending on what objective you select, we actually have specific metrics that we found to have really helped small businesses measure their success. And we'll walk through each one by an objective. So for our first objective of getting more website visitors, that traffic ad, driving traffic to our website, it makes sense that the number of link clicks would be a really great way for you to measure if that link was actually working. What I also want to add is that you will have suggested columns in your ad insight reports, depending on what objective you've selected. And so for getting more website visitors, you can also see your results as a cost per click, or the number of unique link clicks, the number of unique customers that actually have clicked on that link. For Promote Your Page, well, if you're trying to drive more likes, it makes sense that you'd be able to see how many page likes you've gotten within a period of time that you've been running your advertisement. For promoting your business locally, this one is a bit of a tricky objective to measure because we understand that not all of you have time, if you have a physical location, to ask every single customer that comes in, hey, how'd you hear about us? Why are you here today? And so what we found is looking at the number of people reached on our Facebook Insights is actually a really good indication of whether or not that ad is working in your local community. Now, when we talk about boosting a post, I often get asked by many individuals, is the number of likes on my boosted post a really good indication of whether that content was worth boosting or a really good ad? And so what I'd like to say is, instead of looking at the number of likes, look at the overall engagement on that piece of content. When we talk about engagement, it's not just likes, it's also reactions, but more importantly, it's comments and shares. If someone's taking the time to comment on your post, or even choosing to share it on their own personal platform, that probably means that, one, they're interested in your business, and two, they're interested in whatever you had to offer there. And so what better market to retarget and build a custom audience about than people that have actually shared your content? They're basically advocates for your business. Now, for our website purchases objective, you can actually use these insights and look and see if your sales rose, if you sold more items, and what items you sold during that time period. And what I want to highlight about this objective is similar to our boosted posts. You can re-engage and retarget these individuals. I've seen a ton of small businesses use people that have purchased from their website within the last 60 days for their remarketing and retargeting campaigns. So if you use your Pixel Insights, you can actually create a custom audience from this. And what's great is that the Pixel will automatically auto-update this group as well. So you actually don't have to manually update the list. For promoting your app, well, you can see how many people actually downloaded your app from the App Store. And then what I think is even more important about that is, great, it's awesome that they download your app, but did they actually sign up? Was there also an increase in the number of accounts that were created? Or maybe you're offering a delivery service only available through your app. Well, hey, did you notice that there weren't just a lot of app downloads, but also an increase in the number of deliveries that occurred as well? That's a really great indication. When we talk about getting more leads, similar to that app situation, well, it's awesome if a lot of people choose to fill out your form and find out more information about your business. That's a great first check to see if your lead ad worked. But after you sent that information, did you actually notice an increase in sales or an increase in customers? Kind of taking it one step further through that funnel, yes, they were aware, but did they actually consider and do business with you? Use that to evaluate your objective. And then lastly, if you're promoting your call to action button, this will really vary depending on what your button says, but if your button says call now, did you get more phone calls? Did you notice that you had more people booking appointments once you changed that button? And so, keeping all of those, oh sorry, I'll go back so you guys can actually take a photo of that. Sorry if I moved too quickly. Keeping all of those in mind, you think back to your goal and your audience and the objective that you identified that would help you drive that goal. Do these metrics make sense? Do you think that metric would be a really good way for you to evaluate the progress of that goal? I see some people nodding, which is great. And so I encourage you to take the step-by-step approach in building out an advertising plan and apply it to your business as well. A couple of things that I do want to highlight before I say goodbye. We've covered how you can actually build out a SMART goal for your organization, how you can find out who your customers are by doing that profiling activity, and then more importantly, using the customer journey activity to understand all of the potential touch points you may have with them before they actually purchase from you. I've talked about all the different ad objectives that work with that customer funnel, the awareness, consideration, conversion piece, and then lastly, where you can actually go, promote button, to apply what we've talked about for your plan. I do want to highlight that Facebook Blueprint is an awesome educational platform. It has tons of 15-minute videos of anything and everything to do with Facebook, and it's where employees like myself go to learn about what's with the platform. If you're interested in using the Pixel, there is a great 15-minute video on Blueprint that shows you how to install the code yourself. I know code can sound like a really crazy and scary word, but it is a really quick and simple process. I also encourage you to all join our Facebook group, the Boost with Facebook US group. It's a great way to stay connected with one another, but also when you join the group and when you register for events like this, you'll be whitelisted for customer support, which is really awesome. Lastly, we have a bunch of product experts in our learning lounge, so feel free to ask them any technical questions you might have. And also, we're having a survey. It's actually just around the corner here. You fill out the survey, let us know how you thought the event was. We're doing a draw for 3 $50 US Facebook outfits. Lastly, thank you. It's been awesome being here in Chicago, and I really appreciate you coming out. So thank you.